Hey guys, it's Emerald here. Today we're gonna talk about potential FighterZ content, some ideas I have, my general opinion on it and stuff. So here we go. Number one, more costume variations for the cast characters. Now, we already have different color variations for every single character in the game. But what if we were to take it a step further and give them different costume presets? What I mean is giving the roster different looks like other fighting games do. Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, Injustice, etc, etc. All these have different skins for all their characters, and it would be really fun to see that in fighters. Even past Dragon Ball games have them, especially in Raging Blast, Budokai Tenkaichi, and yes, you would have the option to change Goku's normal orange dogi without the blue undershirt, or with the ripped dogi and only the blue undershirt. Same for Vegeta. He can have his old Saiyan armors from the Saiyan and Frieza saga. It would be badass to see Vegeta as a Super Saiyan in his older armor. Same for Trunks. He can have his armor, or the undershirt, or even his Dragon Ball Super look. Teen Gohan would have his orange dogi from the BoJack movie and his armor as well. Now I already see a problem with this, is that not all characters will have some diverse costume presets, like Piccolo, Frieza, Nappa, Goku Black, both Boos, Beerus, Cell, Gotenks, Hit, Android 16, and Captain Ginyu. These guys would only have like one different costume preset from the original, some even not, but it would be at least cool to change the look of the characters, instead of only being able to change the color. 2. A different fucking story mode! Now if you're familiar with my rant on Xenoverse 2, and how it actually fucking sucks chodes, you would know that I briefly mentioned that the fucking story is still the same after so many goddamn years. No matter what, every single game would cover up the Saiyan saga up to the Buu saga. Of course, I hear you.
But not all Dragon Ball games have all three arcs in them. Like the Legacy of Goku games have the three arcs split into 3 games.
Yes, you're definitely right. It was still a retelling from the manga and the anime that other Dragon Ball games did before. If you keep up the same formula of still using the 3 main arcs as a basis for a single player campaign in almost every Dragon Ball game, it becomes stale and unoriginal. There's barely any creativity in a franchise where anything can happen, and it could be applied to the main canon of Dragon Ball. However, I've barely seen any game company stray away from this, even when it comes to making a Dragon Ball game, except for Arc System Works.
But Xenoverse,
it's no fucking different.
Almost everyone says that the whole story mode is original
because it's about fixing the Dragon Ball timeline, which makes it totally different.
No!
You still have to go through Raditz, Nappa and Vegeta, the Doria and Zarbon, the Ginyu Force, Frieza, the androids, Cell.
An interesting story.
Finally Buu, Super Buu, and Kid Buu. It's all in the same fucking order. And in Xenoverse 2, the movie villains don't even last until the Frieza arc, with the exception of Cooler, who shows up 3 times, as late as the revival of FR. And that's about it. Adding the newer DBS arcs does not make the formula different either, because now they'll add it in the exact same order in the timeline like every other arc that was previously added in every single game. Nothing changed. Xenoverse does not do anything different or new in terms of storytelling, because they ripped the whole time-traveling idea and its characters from Dragon Ball Online. For fuck's sake, Dragon Ball Heroes, just from the promotional trailers, have done a better job at telling a different narrative than Xenoverse, a fucking card game, exclusive in Japan. Now here comes Arc System Works with, finally, something that butters my crispy flake. It appears to be missing from the Dragon Ball lore. This was never adapted from the manga nor inspired by the anime. This is something entirely new. Dare I say it, original. From the footage, we can see that Goku and Krillin are fighting off what seems to be clones of themselves. You can even decide which route to take in the story mode, whether you want to fight the Yamcha clone so you can save Yamcha and add him to your team, or fight a revived Cell seems to be weaker than he was before. You beat Cell and then you get introduced to Android 21, who's speculated to be the main antagonist of the game, seeing as she used the Namekian Dragon Balls to make a wish. It makes a pretty creepy face and says she's gonna eat you up for a bit.
Yeah, boy.
Other than that, she reveals that she was researching on how to suppress a fighter's power by planting the spirit of someone else on the fighter's body, and calls it linking. And of course, it's a nod to the player. There's more to the story that has been revealed through the previous demos and also through some screenshots and stuff, but I'm gonna save it for myself because I don't want
Spicy meat.
I want a blind experience. But finally, something that breaks the mold for once. Number 3. Potential extra characters, in-game unlockable, or DLC. Now we know that the full roster is 21 characters as of now, 23 if you count the early access bonus, which is Goku and Vegeta in their Super Saiyan Blue forms, and 24 if you count Android 21. But of course, since there was confirmation that DLC will be added, it shouldn't be weird to think that more characters would be dropped in. Some might even think could be unlockable in game when finishing up the story mode, like Xenoverse. However, that's just how I think it will make a game better off. If you could unlock everything, just from playing the game, and not being forced to pay DLC just like some other game I know. Anyways, here are my predictions from the DLC characters we could be getting in the future. I also just want to have some fun poking around and making these characters slightly more interesting.
Exhibit A, Super Vegito or Super Vegito Blue.
Vegito is already quite the popular character. He's pretty much everyone's favorite. It can be quite the missed opportunity if he wouldn't be featured. If he was in his Super Saiyan form, his super moves would be the Banshee Blast that slightly tracks his opponents and stuff, and his Big Bang attack pointed upwards like Gohan using his Kamehameha upwards. His Meteor move would be his Spirit Sword. He would grab his opponent, then throw him on the ground, then use his Spirit Sword and slice his opponent in half. If he were to be in his blue form, his supers would be replaced with Savage Strike by using instant transmission and giving a solid one to the face, and also the Spirit Stab, which is a quicker, weaker, and shorter version of the Spirit Sword. His Meteor, of course, can be his final Kamehameha, using 3 strikes to knock down Zamasu like in the anime, and then firing off his final Kamehameha.
Exhibit B, the legendary Super Saiyan Broly.
Alongside Vegito, Broly is also a very popular choice to be considered as potential DLC, and his moves are pretty straightforward. His 2 supers could be Eraser Cannon, a large ki blast that travels forward, and his Lariat, which grabs his opponents by the neck with the length of his arm and slams them into the wall. His Meteor would of course be his Omega Blaster that he used in Broly Second Coming. Everybody likes that movie. Which he fires a small ki blast that explodes in size upon impact.
Exhibit C, Bob Shotgun. Fuck yeah, Bob Shotgun is only one meteor attacking this one. He killed Shotgun after killing getting 7,000 ki.
Actually, it's Merge Zamasu.
But I remember all day, Zamasu's already in game and he's an assist character.
You're a fucking idiot.
I know, but I'm talking about Merge Zamasu, not regular Zamasu. And to make it more interesting, we're going to fuse his manga and anime interpretations. As for his supers, he can summon the Kachin cubes, and they can be thrown at the enemy with an extra input, and his other attack could be his Lightning of Absolution, striking his opponent with lightning from a large halo. Let's go further and add a third super attack from the Ranka, because I think some characters and fighters can have a third super attack, so yeah. Where he can like open portals to catch his enemy off guard. Now with his Meteor, it's actually his transformation. Just like Golden Frieza, he can transform, but he transforms into his half-corrupted form from the anime, and it lasts for the whole match. He gains more strength, just a slight increase, and has a very different moveset to use his same super moves. But except that the Kachin is replaced with his Holy Wrath Ki Blast, and he has his newer Meteor, which is Divine Hammer, the move he used against Vegito Blue, throwing his fist forward with then an uppercut before connecting into his Keyblade with one stab as the finishing blow. For the rest of the DLC characters, I have no idea. Arc System Works is kind of unpredictable when it comes to releasing newer characters, which is actually kind of fun because I never expected Nappa, Krillin, Yamcha, or even like Tien to be in the roster. And I actually find that pretty cool. And Yamcha, holy shit, Yamcha, he looks fucking sick as hell to play with. So I'm gonna be maining Yamcha. Well, I might be maining Yamcha. I don't know. It depends if the character feels good to play with or not. But that's it. Those are all my thoughts and speculation and ideas on what I think fighters could potentially be and what it could need to make it more interesting. I'll see you guys in the next video, and it's probably going to be a fighter story mode gameplay. So I'll see you guys in probably 8 to 7 days, I think. Yeah, let me actually. So in 8 days, I'll see you guys in the next video.